Here we have a collection of chefs. There is Naren Thimaya, who runs a very traditional restaurant, and I would definitely say to him, don't ever change your menu. Sabi is a consulting chef, which has the advantage of him being able to change his canvas every now and then. He also has a lovely restaurant in Delhi where I have eaten his food personally, which is a very niche restaurant, and that's got Armenian cuisine. Chef Naren, traditional menu. Karavali is an award-winning restaurant. It's the only one of its kind in India, perhaps, which has cuisine all the way from Goa right down to the tip of India, the southern tip of India, which is Kerala. And the restaurant was started by a team of chefs who were given the task of going to all these cities, these areas, and learning from the housewives. I think Naren is still one of the original founding chefs who is still there, and he has the responsibility of still looking after the restaurant. Over to you, Naren.
Good afternoon. Yeah, unlike Sabi, I have one story to tell, and that's about Karavali. And back then in 1990, when we started, that's when we realized, yes, that was the time Bangalore was emerging. There were new cuisines coming in. But at the same time, we knew and we thought we should offer something which is closer to your heart, the origin of so-called comfort food now. So all that we looked at was, yes, mothers and grandmothers' food, but to make it as authentic as possible. Because that is one area winning over the guests is that much more difficult. Interpretations are nice, you like it, and you move on with it. But here, anything and everything you do, you have each and everyone telling you how his mother or his grandmother is better than us.
Run restaurants which are singular Indian theme or international theme also with varied. I always believe that food is for celebration when you're going to a restaurant, because good home cooked food you can have it in your house. Why would you go to a restaurant? And the menu for sale. So if you have to go out for a celebration, it does not have to be normal, and normal is boring. It has to be an element of surprise. It has to be a combination of various things, which in terms of food as food per se, or as I call it, dressing gown, whether it's crockery, cutlery, or seating or per se, which comes in. So that I have always seen, whether they were singular singular driven menus, or they were with variety of menus which had come, and that has been brought success to people. Chef Abhijit just mentioned about home cooking. I feel that urban societies, we do not have time for home cooking, and that's where a lot of people utilize restaurants. They probably go 5 days, 6 days out to eat in amongst 10 meals between lunch and dinner. So if this is almost 10 days eating out, you also have a combination of eating from a McDonald's kind of place, to a delivery, to a sit-down restaurant, to a sipping up a beer in a microbrewery, which actually combines what Bangalore is today, and it is in rising. So that if everybody has to be successful and there is competition, I believe that it is not between good and bad, it is between good and good. And everybody is trying to be giving the best food. So to find a formula for a better menu, or what we are talking here, it has to have an element of everything. And if we can find that, that is what makes it winning, and that's what the restaurant goes on.
Sabi, you have been doing restaurants outside your comfort zone of Delhi, North India, and you have been foraying a lot of, making a lot of trips to Bangalore. And Big Brewski is a huge project, and that has probably a massive canvas where you can throw in so much. But that's because it's spread over so many square feet. If these gentlemen over here want to open up a restaurant which is like about 60-seater, I think that must be the maximum, most popular format, 60 seaters, 50 seaters.
So the license is 50 and then 90. So, you have to be in one of these formats.
Okay.
It's pretty much the same. Yeah, go ahead.
For a 50 seater, what do you recommend?
So I think we'll discuss the next format, which is 70 to 90. That is a easier format because how commercial spaces are coming today, what we call gala in Delhi, is either they're an 800 square feet plate or they're a double of 800 or a 850 plus another. So you're looking at 1500 square feet plates, single, half, rectangular boxes or one above the other. So let's say if you're opening a 3000 square feet restaurant, which is today a very, very ideal scenario if you look at most of these gastropub and bistros as we call them, 2,500 to 3,000 is a very, very ideal scenario where you can put anywhere between 80, 90, you stretch it a little bit with your bar stools is that you can go up to 100 odd seats, maybe a little more. If you have an outdoor, what we call hotel in Bombay is amazing where you can put a canapé, you can sit out. We also noticed that Bangalore always had a thing for sitting outside. The last two presentations before us was very interesting. I was sitting and observing them. I think most of the questions were answered there. So I'm going to just reiterate on them once more. There is no success mantra. Opening a restaurant is like playing club football. So you have to be a good footballer. Most entrepreneurs have never played football in this country. Now, with due respect, if you're an entrepreneur and if you're opening a restaurant, you are a football club owner. Correct? So you have to hire those three pillars we've been discussing, the head chef, the manager, and the person who's handling your accounts and purchase, which is extremely critical. In many ways, I feel the accounts and the purchase guy is far more important to me than these other two pillars because we put a lot of stress on the other two. Okay. So now what happens as an entrepreneur, I'm sitting outside the field and I'm advising people how to play. So I'm pretty much the coach. So I have to have very good live understanding of the game, have played the game at some point. So as an entrepreneur, I would also advise go and maybe work in some restaurants in India or abroad for a while to get a live feed of what's happening inside the field because we will sit outside the football field and we will say, this furniture I don't like, or that the menu doesn't work. I like this. My wife cooks that. My grandmother used to cook that. All of that might not work because when you actually get down to play, whether the cricket or the football, when you're inside the pitch is when you know what's going on. Okay, so which means you have to find a good space, find a good team who's playing for you. Internationally, it's a very, very simple funda. When you want to open a restaurant, you either marry a chef or make the chef your partner. That's only two way it opens. In India, it doesn't operate like that, and that is why in India the chefs are like race horses. All the entrepreneurs hire chefs and make them run. What happens at the end of the race? You won the horse have won the race, but the horse doesn't get anything, right? You'll get a little extra dana pani, little chara, maybe a little old monk onto your, and good because you won the race, and you get whipped along the race. So this is a scenario of restaurants that we must figure out in our head. That if I'm an entrepreneur, I'm opening a restaurant, I am going to find a good chef. I'm not saying any random person. Find a good chef, make him or her your partner.
How does he leverage his premises into creating a weekend pop-up?
I think that this is a great way forward. There are many, many people in this city, many chefs or well-known cooks who do not own their restaurants yet. For example, just to give a name, for example, Shazia Khan, who's been one of the contestants for the MasterChef India. She's a great cook. She's written a cookbook. She loves her cooking. And, she sends me every year her food during the Eid and, Ramazan. So I think that she is someone, who could be tapped easily, a person who could be easily tapped to, do a weekend kind of a pop-up or a festival, whatever you want to call it. So there are many such people. Social media has made it easier for people
This
to
wasn't the
look
case
into
some
that.
time back, but today it's easier to
You don't
spread
have to
this
know that
news
person personally.
in real time.
Yes. So you can find people on social media who are active with their food and can bring them into your restaurant and do that kind of create that kind of an opportunity of doing that pop-up.